straighten this mess out. But this one thing that's neat about what we're reading and hearing about Hillary is it's so disproving, but I just can't imagine people still believing that the Democrats are less likely to be involved in this scam than the Republicans. But they're both trained by the same economists. They're all Keynesians. They're all interventionists. They're all authoritarians. And the principle of liberty doesn't even cross their mind. They don't have the vaguest notion about it. They believe that you have to have the elite who are the authoritarians, and they'll pretend they're going to take care of people. At the same time, all they do is build up their power.
Yes, sir.
Eventually it ends because the currency will end, and that's what we're starting to see happening right now.
Dr. Paul, the Ron Paul Institute's fighting it with incredible intellectual research and documentation. Your son's fighting it, the leader of the presidential pack right now for Republican candidates. The Governor Abbott is suing the federal government over its tyranny. There's a lot of good news coming out, and I want to talk to you about that. But the power structure and all these manuals and documents, I'm going to play a clip of this in a moment, police being asked in Indiana and in Washington, you know, why are you getting MRAPs? And they say it's for the patriots, it's for the veterans, it's for the gun owners. You remember that first MIAC report we got 6 years ago that listed you, and at first your office was calling me going, Alex, is this really real? I'm like, no, we got it from the state police. It's real. Later they admitted it. What are the totalitarians, the fascists, going to do with the tens of millions of Americans of every race, color, and creed, and a large portion of college students and others that understand what's happening and aren't going to go along?
Well, they're going to continue with the corruption and expand the corruption in the judicial system. And this is what really is a problem, because you know, have a lot of people breaking the law. You have a Petraeus that breaks the law and he gets his hand slapped. Then you read about the Clintons and they don't get anything. You read about Edward Snowden, who is a patriotic hero, and he loses he's a man without a country. So it's turned on its head. But what really is something that we ought to be very resentful of and get changed is the authoritarians use the IRS. They use all these regulations. They punish their enemies. Nobody can understand the regulations, but go get into a federal court and they are in charge. There's no doubt about it. And we have had this federal takeover already. You know, 100,000 federal bureaucrats who carry guns. You know, we worry about the future, but I'm worried about the present. You know, but where I'm encouraged, and I know you get some encouragement too, is that people are waking up. I think nullification is here to stay with us. States will eventually say, look, you've overstepped your bounds, and especially when the dollar won't work. That's when you're going to see the individual states and individuals taking upon themselves to protect themselves. And that is what I think is coming. It's a maniac war on drugs that has finally driven a lot of conservatives and liberals to come together and saying, hey, look, the Fed shouldn't be involved in this, because that's where our prisons are overflowing. 90% of the prisoners are involved with drug dealing and drug usage, and most of them, or a large number, are nonviolent people. So we have a mess there, but it's the judicial system, and I think the drug laws have been unfairly enforced, and all kinds of reasons for that. And as many of us worried about, I mean, we see our cities starting to explode, and let's hope it can be settled down so we can have a little bit of improvement. But right now, it looks like it could expand.
Well, that brings me to my next question. Obviously, the feds have militarized the police. Hillary comes out and says, you know, we have to have police accountable. We can't have militarization. When under Clinton, the war on drugs exploded, the militarization, that's when it really expanded. It's accelerated now under Obama, also under Bush. But it's the war on drugs that militarized police. But then separately, you have George Soros and the left and Obama and Biden going out and saying the Republicans want to put your chains back on, the cops want to kill you, because they can't give them jobs. Black unemployment's doubled under Obama, so they're going to give them, I guess, racial identity and infighting. And then the mayor orders a stand down so they can get things going. I'm really concerned this could be a false flag coming up this summer as the media hypes these tragic deaths to try to get something like the 60s going again. Can you speak to that, sir?
Well, Well, that's always possible, but we had a very bad example of the authoritarians taking over after the bombing in Boston. That was a good practice session. So I think they're going to continue to do that. It's not like the principles and the power behind FEMA. That's not brand new, but I think so much of that has already occurred. I think some of the activity goes on is sort of conditioning the people to say, well, it's we'll have this and we'll have some training here, and the people sort of say, well, they didn't take over the whole country, so they try to talk themselves out of it. The thing that bugs me the most has come up since 9/11 is that too many people are complacent and actually encourage it. The media is horrible. The politicians are horrible, but too many individuals say, Ron, you got to realize you got to give up some of your freedoms to be safe, and that's why you should have voted for the Patriot Act. That stuff still is around. They're still talking that way, but people safety and security is valued more than their liberty, and of course you know what that ends up with.
Well, we know that when you give up liberty, you get ultimate insecurity. You get enslavement. Ron Paul is our guest. We've got a few minutes left with him. Doctor, I want to get into something you talked a lot about in the last 30 years of your public life, and that was the slow militarization of police. Now it's become a big national issue. Even the New York Times says it's a problem. They admit that the IRS is taking people's bank accounts for no reason. I mean, the IRS is persecuting the Tea Party and groups. I mean, we're really already living, I think, under a form of martial law. As you said, we're being phased into total fascism or complete fascism. The governor, Abbott, came out and put a tweet out 2 days ago saying, I want to make sure our liberties are watched and that Texas sovereignty is watched. I'm going to dispatch the Texas Guard to watch Jade Helm. I never said when we broke Jade Helm a month ago that it would be martial law. I never said that Obama was coming to take the state. I said it was more conditioning. But they have had literally thousands of articles the last month, 300 plus yesterday, every channel in Austin, national news, every channel saying, I'm saying there's going to be martial law, the governor is, and that we're all kooks, they're attacking, Rand's been sucked into it. What do you do about these straw men where they go, oh, there is no NSA, and there is, or, oh, Alex says there's going to be martial law, when all we're saying is there's this continued march, and they admit in Forbes that the Army is training to take on the Tea Party. I mean, we have clips of them saying the MRAPs are for the veterans. So basically your take on this incremental boiling frog, and then these I guess you call them straw men, where they claim we said something that we didn't really say, and then when total martial law doesn't come, they say we're discredited.
Yeah, that's the way they work. I guess we do our best to just get the truth out there, and I think more people are looking for the truth and are skeptical of all the propaganda. But I was I thought that this Abbott ruling or sending the National Guard there was a reflection that there is a sentiment with enough people that he is responding. I don't know the governor, and I don't know personally where his views are, but I think he senses that he has to respond to this because there's enough people who are worried about it. But both sides might be doing some of the grandstanding, and so often, though, that can get out of hand. I think what is happening now is that we know about the militarization of the police and the overreaction and the difficulty with the drug war, but we also notice that there are some people that are on the receiving end of excessive police force are overreacting too, and they become very, very violent, and people can get pretty nervous about that as well. But the big overwhelming thing that drives the problem in the inner city is back to economics.
Yes, sir.
If we had a thriving economy, the problems in the inner city wouldn't be be there. But if you have an entitlement system, and if you have Keynesian economics, if you have a Federal Reserve fixing it up for the rich, then the rich getting richer, and the remaining part of the middle class, the upper middle class that might be remaining and producing, the rich even go after them, and they're going to tax them and try to keep this thing going. But one thing for sure, we don't know when it'll end, but it will end. It's incapable of going for long periods of time. There's never been a paper currency, it lasts for, an indefinite period of time. They always end, and this one has gone on for way too long, and it's bigger than ever. There's never been a fiat currency like the dollar engulfing the entire world like it is today.
And they're clearly, in closing, gearing up during a collapse to try to accelerate into tyranny. I want to play a 10-second clip for you to see if you've heard it from Morgan County, Indiana, one of dozens we have, with them saying the MRAP tanks are for the veterans. Here's the clip.
We really didn't have the violence that we see today. The weaponry is totally different now than it was in the beginning of my career. Plus, you have a lot of people that are coming out of the military that have the ability and the knowledge to build IEDs and to defeat law enforcement techniques.
So there they are, Congressman, and then we have clips during pre-Jade Helm training where they're training to take on the Tea Party. I'll play that after you leave. I'm just documenting this here. How can they say Jade Helm's for overseas when they admit that it's also for domestic snatch and grab operations?
That I don't have a complete understanding of that. I don't have a precise answer for that. All I know is it's very difficult to sort out exactly what they're up to and what they're doing. I do know that they're not worried about our liberty, and I do know that they take care of the very wealthy special interests, which this system that we have takes care of quite well.
What do you think in closing of Governor Abbott? I think he's been actually doing a pretty good job since he got in here in Texas.
I think so, and I didn't do anything special to help him, but I'll tell you what, we could have a lot worse. So nothing has struck me as that makes me displeased. I don't happen to watch state issues very closely. I guess his recent announcement here today about Jade Helm got my attention more than anything else. But I would say that he's doing a decent job.
It's very refreshing to just see somebody do their job like you did in Congress. God bless you, Dr. No. We really appreciate you.
Good, Alex. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Another powerful interview with former Congressman Ron Paul. I tell you, I don't get excited when I've gotten a chance to meet some of the most famous rock stars and movie stars, unless I'm fans of what they do, and then it's exciting just because I like their art. But it's just nothing compared to someone like Ron Paul and others. Now, at the same time, I know some celebrities like Dave Mustaine and Billy Corrigan who get attacked when they come on viciously and still come on and have courage. That I admire, and I get butterflies over. But I can get around, a firefighter that goes in a burning house and, to save a child and gets burned, and I just get tears in my eyes thinking about what a good man that is, or a good woman, because we're supposed to admire people that stand up for liberty. Not a basketball player, not a football player, not some drugged-out rock star just because they got 20 women. And I'm not on some moral high horse when I say that. I'm just saying that's not my God. I will not sell out the unborn. I will not sell out the Second Amendment. I will not sell out the family. I will not compromise on not being hit with soft kill weapons to make us weak and stupid. The fluoride and the rest of it. And it means nothing under their fake peer pressure paradigm to be lectured and attacked by a bunch of nobodies like Rachel Maddow and CBS News and Anderson Cooper of the CIA at CNN. But they live in a world of caring what everybody says about them. They live in a world of being empty. And as Jakari Jackson said in earlier little vignette information bulletins that we now have during the advertisements, Christ, even when he was rebuking people and not following their orders unto death, he didn't hate them because he realized these are the people he was there to save. And we have to understand that I don't even hate a Rachel Maddow or people like that anymore because I realize how pathetic they are. And where they've put themselves in this universe. I want to say great job to the crew. They were scrambling while I was trying to get them to get clips on the fly. I should come in earlier and actually line up all the clips I want to play. But we're going to play some of those clips when we come back because, I mean, there's just so many of them with the military in every drill that we get on tape. I mean, we just go to an event, or our reporters do, or our listeners do, and just every time the military is trying to take on patriots. And then they just want to make this preparation, condition the military it's okay, have this civil war with us as if we were just going to wait here on our butts. We're getting ready.